on and updates on the tragic event of the past week that has claimed the lives of up to 78 civilians who we've lost in a very senseless act of violence that has been perpetrated in the Oromia region, in Harare region, and as well as in Dirredawa city. But before I get into the briefing, I think it's important to express my personal condolences, as well as on behalf of the Office of the Prime Minister, as well as the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia government, that we really want to express our condolences to the friends and families of those that have been affected by these senseless acts. No life is taken for granted, and we don't take any lives for granted as well. So I think it's also important to state that their lives also rest in peace. As a nation, these kind of incidents have a tendency to rattle many people, but at the same time, it's through these kind of incidents as well where we get to really evaluate how we respond and react to certain issues as well. It's also important, and I would like to highlight that we condemn these acts as well. These are senseless acts. They have resulted in the destruction of not only lives but also the destruction of property, which really goes against the growth orientation and the growth path that this country is currently following. And particularly in a period of Ethiopia's history right now, where so many spaces have opened up politically for people, for political parties, for individuals to engage in a meaningful way. And also when we have started the journey of embarking on really revitalizing and reviewing our economic potential and also strengthening our foreign relations. And really also focusing on this aspect of dialogue, where previous spaces did not allow for people to come together and engage in dialogue, where there's calls by the central government and also specifically by the Prime Minister to come sit at the table and share in ideas, being able to express discontent and express things that we do not agree with in a violent way, is really working against Ethiopia and working specifically against Ethiopians, all that people have labored for as well. It's also important for us to pay particular attention to people who have played a key role over the past week. We want to express gratitude to religious elders. We want to also give gratitude to traditional elders who have done a lot of reconciliation work and convened dialogues. But at the same time, in addition to efforts by the federal government in partnership with the regional governments to attend to the destruction, there have been also local people, average people, volunteers who've engaged in supporting their fellow Ethiopians as well. So it's really important to highlight the role of these kind of volunteers and really celebrate them as well. So on behalf of the Prime Minister's office, we want to also express those thanks. With regards to the update on the post-violence work that has been done, following the violent conflict last week, which has claimed those lives, the federal and regional government have been working in sync to address the violence in 4 ways in particular. So the first primary task has been containing the violence. So per the request, because the federal government always enters regional governments per the request that they extend. So per the Oromia and Harare regional governments, the security apparatus and national defense forces, together with their regional counterparts, have been doing containment work to ensure that the violence doesn't spread, to ensure that the violence doesn't intensify and the destruction of lives and properties is not exacerbated. So the National Army was deployed to stop the instability and bring calm in Ambo, Bishoftu, Bale Robe, Dodola, Mojo, Adama, Dirredawa, and Harar City upon the request of the regional governments and the city as well. So through this operation of containment, the security apparatus has been really successful in containing it and ensuring that the violence does not intensify. Although the violence did take on ethnic and religious component to it as well. So that containment work was one of the key interventions. The second work that has been done is in terms of bringing perpetrators into custody, and also the investigation work has begun, and this will continue. The latest information that I have in terms of perpetrators that have been apprehended is 409 individuals that have been apprehended provided. So these figures are also subject to change, obviously, as the investigation work continues and proceeds. But rest assured that the ongoing investigation work and the ongoing work to hold all perpetrators accountable is going to ensure that people who have committed these crimes and people who have been agents of perpetrating these crimes as well will also be held accountable. The third aspect is humanitarian support for victims of or survivors of the violence. So efforts by health workers, government health workers, in terms of tending to the needs, immediate needs of those that have survived the attacks has been ongoing. At the same time, there have been people that have also been displaced and their properties destructed as part of this. So there has been work, again, on the invitation of the regional government for federal intervention to provide emergency food and non-food material.